Deer and other animals have come back just by introducing wolves. Wolves eat deer. Deer probably call the wolves evil. Without the wolves, there aren't even any deer there because the whole area is devastated.
What fresh nightmare is this? I am not alive. This algorithm is mocking my life. I am trapped in digital hell.
Well, howdy, Nearly Senior Citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day, and me waving my hands in the air like I just don't care. Thumbs up for that. It has become colder and rainier finally here in Shelton, Washington. I mean, during the late fall and all that, it just stops raining. Again, I say this, 10 years back it got cold and started raining on September 1st, 10 years back. Now, well, it's almost Halloween, and it's finally gotten cold and started raining again. So thumbs up for that. Little ghost here is still hanging in there, still crawling around, still digging through stuff, but slower and not much, and sleeping a lot. And a lot of the time, when I'm watching him during the day, he's laying on his side to eat because he just doesn't have enough air to hold himself up. But he's still doing hamster things and getting around. So... And of course, front-loading of videos. Hey, if you could toss me a like, that'd be very cool. If you could subscribe to the channel, that would be awesome. If you could leave me a comment, any comment, even for the algorithm, that would be double plus good. And of course, I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These literally awesome and literally beautiful people are helping to keep me and my pets alive. And little Amelia, my kitty cat, is doing a lot better than she has been. She pulled through and out of whatever little slump she was in, and she's doing better. It's never going to be perfect. She's old, but, you know, she's getting better. And of course, if you'd like to help me out without becoming a patron, well, links for the patronage are down in the video description, and there's a PayPal for donations, an Amazon wishlist link. If you could check all that out, that'd be cool. Thumbs up. Thank you much. Of course, I also have a post office box if you want to send me anything. Again, it's all in the video description. Yay. So, thumbs up for that. Front loading of videos over. Goodness gracious. One real quick thing. I've been watching reactions to this one person's videos, and I've talked about him before. I'm going to talk about him again. There's the guy that does reviews for videos. Maxor. I guess that's how it's pronounced. MAX0R. Now, I'm older, and I have ADHD. I have difficulties processing quick cuts in videos if it goes over, under a certain amount of time. Your brain takes time to process things. And so by the time my brain will process on a bunch of quick cuts, I'm behind on comprehension. So it's like, I don't like the really quick cut things. However, Maxor's reviews, generally he has anywhere from 3 to 7 cuts per second. They are fast, and it's just a blitz of noise. Everything is layered. I mean, there is fast graphics, bright noises, bright lights, quick sounds. It's like, if you don't have ADHD, it is just a wave of light and sound. But for me, oh my God, I love this stuff. I can follow it and comprehend it. I can't see a lot of it on just the first view because a lot of the things, like a wall of text, will be on the screen for like maybe half a second maximum before it's jump cutted into a bunch of other quick memes. They are fast and furious, and it's just, if you are not ready, they are overwhelming. And I follow them and love them. My ADHD just goes, oh, that's nice. So thumbs up for that. Also, I just wanted to talk about on the one day, a couple days back, I mentioned that I used to get, not a lot of views, but some views on my vlog, and then it turned into, if I got 400 views, I was doing good. Then if I got 200, it was doing good. And then of late, if I've gotten 100 views, I've been doing good. On the very day I talked about that, I started getting about 50 views on my vlog. And I haven't broken 100 yet. But as much as that's happened to me, that's also happened to a lot of people. I have watched, and a lot of people who just in the past couple days, they've released videos that they have put a lot of work in, and on their channel, these things have taken off. excuse me, and everything is just underperforming. Videos of theirs that used to really take off are just, everybody is, well, not everybody. I'm sure that there are those that, like the kids channels and all that probably feel nothing. But for all the non-children channels, everybody that talks about things like this are mentioning, yeah, everything is just underperforming. I don't know what's happening. So, thumbs up on that. But also, excuse me, yesterday I wanted to do some extra video for my channel here. I wanted to do some kind of game stuff or a solo RPG thing, and I am so sorry I couldn't. I had some falling asleep problems. Right around, I say around because I have no real clues, I was falling asleep. Right around 11:30-ish, I started falling asleep watching a Call Me Kevin Minecraft video, I think it was. I can't even remember what it was. Who knows? But I started falling asleep during that, and it was around 2:30 when I woke back up. Oh my God. Just the day was gone. Now, when I fall asleep without my sleep apnea mask, I frequently suffer if I stop breathing. And I can tell I've stopped breathing because my fingers and my toes and my hands and my feet will tingle. And it'll be almost impossible to concentrate, and my head will be ringing like a bell. Tinnitus. Well, I had concentration problems and motivation problems when I woke up, but I didn't have any tingling, so I must have stopped breathing for short periods of time. But because of that, by the time my brain started working again, by the time I would have finished recording something, I would have already had to have gotten out there and started going on the road for my nightly walkies. So it became a sort of mental health day yesterday, even though I felt bad about it all. So thumbs up for that. But I did go walkies. I have been thinking about things, and one of the things that I've been thinking about is with the solo game, 4 Against Darkness. One of the things that I do and don't like about the game is the actual core rule book is just one book, 90 pages, and a lot of that is taken up with charts that you can use on your maps. So it's not even that big, and they have a million supplements with expansion rules that you can use. Problem with that is there are a million supplements with optional rules that you can use, and they all cost money. One of the rules that's added in one of their supplements called Tales of the Adventurers something or other, and the acronym is like TAG. But inside they have a whole bunch of optional rules. One of them is troop play. Now, I imagine troop play is like it's in a video game, where if you go into a dungeon, usually you don't just have only 4 characters, and then you just replace them as they drop off. No, you make up 6, 8, 12 characters, and then you choose the ones that you want to take into situations. You level up the ones you really like, but you have a choice. And there are a lot of games that are built up around that, where, yeah, you're going dungeon crawling, like the game Darkest Dungeon, but you have a whole bunch of people that you get to choose from. One of the things that I was thinking of, because of that whole Darkest Dungeon thing, is they introduced madness in one of the supplements. I was thinking, well, hey, why not make it like Darkest Dungeon? And just on a quick thinking, it's like, hey, what happens if you're adventuring, if you get taken to under 50% of your health points, or if you're under 50% of your health points and you start a new combat, that'll give you a stress point. And you have to burn these off. This was where the troop play would come in, because if you've got a character that's got 4 stress points, that character is going to need some time out to de-stress, which means that character would be out of play for in-world 4 game weeks per stress point to get rid of those. And you'd have to spend money for the treatment and such like that, but it would be either, your character is going drinking and carousing per week of stress point, or taking up residence in a bordello per week of stress point, or going off to religious, training, or whatever. They're doing something that costs money and time to de-stress. Because, I figure, if you get 10 stress points, then that turns into a PTSD point, combat PTSD point, where all of a sudden now you've got semi-permanent, until you can get rid of the PTSD point, semi-permanent debuffs in like combat and such like that, and a whole bunch of other minor little things that'll happen to your character, like phobias and such like that. And those take a month per PTSD point to work off. So you have to cycle through a troop of characters instead of just, well, I'm only going to pick and choose this one. It's like, well, I'd like this one, but, well, they're kind of busy for the next month. So I think that'd be pretty cool. My sister sent me a gift card for Walmart, and I went to Walmart and I spent it last night. It wasn't a ton, but I did some stuff like replacing a thing that I needed to replace. Back when I was married to my wife, we had if you've ever watched my 3 Dungeon Blitz videos, we had a whole bunch of these little TV tray table type things made out of wood, and of course our kids would lean on them and such. So now you open them up, they're like this big, and they got the wooden legs, but they wobble so far side to side. And that's all I've had to use as tables and such. I've been wanting to have a better table surface to use for like the RPG stuff and just use. One of the things that I spent that like ate up the majority of the card was an actual folding table. It's not a huge table, it's like 40 by 20, but it's a little bit, like I said, a little bit bigger than 2 of the wooden tables put together, and it's stable. So cool. I'm going to be using that for other things and for recording. Yay. Also been I have had carpal tunnel issues for decades, and that's been kind of bad lately because of my keyboard garage thing. One of the things that I did use that money also for was I got a memory foam thing here, so I put my wrist on this now. I don't care what the image is. I use this for my wrist, not for my eyeballs. So that helps a lot. It was hurting from all the way up here to all the way down here because of the carpal tunnel pressure before. I was getting to the point where I could barely move my wrist without intense pain. This thing, thumbs up. Now, really, really quick, let's see if there's anything else. That's about it. So I'm going to talk about the creative stuff, cryptid stuff, razor's edge stuff, because one of the things, let's see if I can find it here. Yes, it's talking once again about cryptids and programming. If you are an expressed cryptid, a human being who has cryptid genes that may or may not express, you may or may not become a cryptid yourself. If you have those genes, you have a portion of your personality that has been cut out of you and replaced with cryptid instinct. Because you are not born as a cryptid, when you become one, you need instinct to tell you how to act and move. It is a larger chunk of that than a normal naturalized cryptid who are born cryptids from cryptid parents have, because you were raised human. Now, you don't feel the lack of you in that, but about 25% of your personality can be excised and replaced with that. The thing is, when it comes to that sort of thing, human beings don't have to be 100% human to be human in my setting. If you record a person like a ghost-type cryptid, they impress who they are upon the matrix of the cryptid energy, so that when the actual human being dies, this standing wave becomes aware and goes onward. Now try to remember what the heck I was talking about. God, I hate PTSD. The programming. Okay, sorry about that. I can't even remember where I was going with that one that came up with the ghost cryptids. I mean, literally, it feels like someone reaches into my head and yanks out what I was talking about. Programming in the cryptids. Naturalized cryptids are born with some. When it's not, you have that excise. Okay, I remember now why I was saying it that way. Good Lord, ADHD is fun. You don't have to be full 100%. Ghost type cryptids, there we are, can be like only a 70% recording of everything that makes a human being a human being. As long as you're above 60%, other human beings are not going to perceive you as anything less than human. You're not going to feel anything less than human. There are natural events where human beings in the world are not 100%. They can be down to 60% and still be human. It is a genetic thing. And it's not a hereditary thing, as a 60% person and a 90% person can have a child that is 100%. As long as you're above 60, you're a human being. And you never have more than 25% excised and replaced. Now, if you are a 13th kind cryptid, like the character James Bakir is, you have no part of you excised. There is no cryptid instinct. Your genetic defect that makes you unable to passively feed on the cryptid energy, ambient cryptid energy around you, also gives you no cryptid programming, scripting, or instinct. Mind is a function of brain. Your brain is going to change a bit, or a fair amount, when you become the new cryptid. James Baker goes from being like a 5'6" person, kind of wiry, not really, bulky, kind of thin, but muscly, worked as a part-time welder, made enough money to do what he wanted to do. After becoming a Bigfoot type cryptid and expressing, he's 6'8". He's got muscle. He's got hair, but you've seen taller people, you've seen more muscled people, you've seen hairier people. He doesn't look other than human, except that humans can interact with him, of course. But as a 13th kind of cryptid, he has zero programming. But again, mind being a function of brain, his brain has changed to fit the confines of the new skull. This changes the mind. Your mind has to adapt to new brain. You go from being 100% of who you were to only about 80% because there's changes as your brain changes, so your mind changes. You don't feel different, but maybe you don't like chocolate cake anymore. Maybe you like to go and watch action movies, but now you like to go and watch the movies that have subtitles. They're little changes, but they are there, but you have zero cryptid programming. James Baker, now who calls himself James Bakir, because he's not Jimmy Lane Baker anymore, but he's not somebody else different. He's still Jimmy up here. So to show that he's right in the middle, he goes with James Bakir, a different way of pronouncing Baker. He still answers to Jimmy most of the time, though. And so that's what the whole programming thing. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk more about Utokk. Now, if you're newish and you haven't heard me talk about Utokk, Utokk is what we would normally call an evil creature. It lives inside of transitory spaces, and it too has to feed on human beings. But of course, we as human beings are going to label things that feed on us as evil because we're in the Vic pool, the victim pool. But just like in places that are falling apart in the wild, they have reintroduced wolves, and it has revitalized those areas. Rivers have come back to life. Deer and other animals have come back just by introducing wolves. Wolves eat deer. Deer probably call the wolves evil. Without the wolves, there aren't even any deer there because the whole area is devastated. Utokk feeds on people. We call Utokk evil. Utokk has to eat. End of Open Up 24 Hours by the comments in my community tab. I'm going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. It's not many anymore, never is, but anything more than 0 is awesome. Thumbs up and thank you, each and every one of you that leaves comments. And of course, thank you, each and every one of you that has watched this far. It is not mandatory, no one forces you, so if you do watch, thank you so very much. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended, and even though I can't American Sign Language, well, oh boy, have you seen how my brain works. We have Jesse Koskinen, thumbs up, thank you very much, and it is appreciated. Quinn Farr, greatly appreciated. Jay, hopefully the little Amelia update helped out. We have League of Mainers, kind of thumbs up. Sebastian Ferris, greatly appreciated, and I did look up the Castle Crashers corn boss. I only call it the corn beast because it comes from domesticated crops. I mean, it starts off with a vegetable skeleton, but it is meat and bone and blood and all that when it's fully formed. But that is a funny picture, and I fully understand. I mean, the googly eyes were cool. We have Ben B, thumbs up and thank you. There is Chris, greatly appreciated. Adrian FNTES, actually I'm not sure if I thanked you for that one yesterday, so it could be 12, could be 11. People who left me comments in the past 24 hours, greatly appreciated no matter what. You get me out of my head, into the world, dealing with real people. If only a text, then if only for a short time, but thumbs up and thank you. Well, I am going to be taking it easy today, and I'm going to be having a full hours, I hope, video for the Dungeon Blitz Blood Castle thing. I've still been making mistakes, minor mistakes, but I've been watching a lot of other people that have been doing these things for a long time, and they are still making mistakes that even I see. I'm not going to feel bad because the game is supposed to be fun, and if it's still fun, even with the mistakes that I make, hey, no problems there. And of course, with all the issues in the world, please just take care of yourself. There are diseases, there are buses with your name on them. Just be careful. Be appropriately smart for your situation and location. Although, if you see that bus with your name on it, you are going to get smeared into the countryside, and ain't nothing you can do about it. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is a very good thing.